Welcome back, nerds and nerdettes. We're back at it again for episode number 2. If you guys are interested in what we have to say in this video, please drop a like. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Turn those notification bells on so you don't miss any of our videos or upcoming live streams. This video, we're going to go over the menus, features, traders, hideouts, things so when you first log in, what am I looking at kind of stuff. We'll go over each category, talk a little bit about each in depth. And then I'm really going to dig into those more in some of the upcoming videos. So let's get into it. So after you pick your PMC, whether it be the USEC or the bear, and you get into it and you pick all your character, what do you want them to look like and sound like, you're greeted with this screen right here. Escape from Tarkov. This is how you enter into a raid, whether you go in as a scav or you go in as your main character. We're going to get really more in depth in this in one of the later videos. Just know that's how you enter this screen. So this would go live into a battle. The first thing we really want to talk about is your character. This is the driving force of the game. This is where you enter and exit raids, or you attempt to. This is the gear you wear, things of that nature. So this line right here, right, to the left of this line, so all this stuff here is what you are taking into a raid with you. This is what is at risk. So if you go into a raid and you get in or get out, this is the stuff you're bringing into the raid that either you're leaving with or someone else can take if they kill you. You have your headset, your headwear. We're going to go into depth on body armor, headwear, headsets in one of the upcoming videos. That's going to be a little bit more in depth. Attachments, what they mean, what you need to take, what you should take, what you shouldn't take, depending on what you're doing. We're going to go into tactical rigs, what you can put in here, how these work. Your food, your drink. We'll go into that a little bit into this one. Your backpack. So this is everything you can take and store. You can put things in these items, your pockets. If you die in a raid, these items here, if they're not in your bags, these items can be left here. You won't lose these. So this Red Rebel will never leave my inventory as long as I keep it in here. The only other things that are safe are your armband. So I have an evasion armband on. And then your pouch. They call it your butt. So when you hear someone in the game say, put it in your butt, this is what they mean. It's a locked container. It's a secure container. If you are buying the standard account, you only get 4 blocks. So if you put a grizzly in there, your 4 blocks are taken up. If you have something like this in here, where you're putting maybe a marker down for a task and you don't want to lose it, you put it in here. You can put your ammo in here, cases that hold money or items, docs cases, key holders. All this stuff has some value. Anything you find in a raid that you don't want to lose, whether it's an item for a hideout or if it's an expensive item that you're hoping you escape with and can sell, or you don't want someone else to get. Once it goes in here, it's safe. No one can take it. If you die before you exit the raid, so you'll see some items like this. There's no check marks in the corner. These have check marks. If you highlight over the check mark, it says found in raid. Anything found in raid can be sold on a flea market. If I wanted to sell this, I could add it to the flea market, name a price, or barter. We'll get into that in a little bit, and sell it. If it's not found in raid, you cannot sell it on the flea market. You can sell it to a trader only or use it for a hideout. So that's what you know you're taking in for a risk. This is your character. These are your weapons. If you have 2 weapons or if you grab a weapon off somebody and a pistol, that's what this is. Your stash. Everything you collect throughout your raids, items, scav runs. You have cases full of stuff. You can put weapons in here. You can get weapon boxes, You can get all this stuff in here. All this adds up over time. You just kind of put it in your inventory. Some people don't keep it all. Some people run into every raid and they don't have a stash of weapons. It's perfectly fine. You play the game how you want, as we talked about. Your ammo, your mags, all this stuff is stored on this side. You get the standard edition. There are 10 slots across, and you get 28 slots down. And that's how big your stash is to start. When you get the EOD edition, you get all these slots to work with. So you have every single slot in this inventory for storage, which will help you. That's why we said earlier in the first video, or late in the first video, it's a pay to have a jump head start. You don't have to do as much inventory Tetris. You have a little bit more room to store things, to stack things up, so you're not constantly in flux of weapons and gear and what to keep and what not to. So this is that. This is kind of what you need to know. If your inventory is full, say you got the 28, right? And you only have 28 slots down, but you want to put this inside your items chest. You're like, dang, I really want this in here, but it just doesn't fit, right? This little tab here at the bottom gives you, it's a sorting table. So I could technically take anything in my inventory here, and you hit R to rotate. I can move it here. I could take this out, and I can start putting this stuff back around it if I wanted to, if I had space for it. So what all this is a sorting table. It gives you room to maneuver things. Sometimes you can't fit a bag because there's too much stuff, but you can't turn this stuff because there's things in the way. This is just an extra spot to move things around. It can't stay in here. You can't close this without putting it somewhere, so it has to be in something in the game. So keep that in mind. If you do need room and you're like, oh man, I can't move this down because this is in the way, you can adjust stuff out, move something in, adjust it back because you can't leave it in this table, but it helps you. There's an auto sort button. This will sort everything in your inventory to make it fit. I never use it. I don't like it. Some people do use it. It helps. If you're still new to the game and you're just trying to fit things in, you can hit auto sort and it'll kind of jumble up everything the way it wants. So that's kind of how your inventory works. Everything on your left, take into a raid. Everything on the right, safe. Whether you go into a raid and die or not, this is okay. So this account, you'll see here, this is your stat screen. Don't focus on this too much. A run-through is when you go in, you don't interact with the game enough. You need, I think it's 250 points or just 7 minutes in a raid to not get a run-through. I've done 337 raids on this account. I survived 191. That's a 56% survival rate. So one of two raids, pretty much I die, with the exception of a couple wins here and there. When I first started, this was heavily, I must have died 20, 30 raids in a row before I could even figure out how to extract because I didn't have anything to really use. Lifespan, 12 minutes. Kills, KDs. My other account, I think, has 392 hours, and then my son's account, we have another 100 hours in now already, 75 hours in. So got over 1,000 hours of playtime right now between the accounts I've been using. Standard account, and then my Edge of Darkness account, and my son's account. Don't focus on the overall. It's good to know if you're interested, but it doesn't mean anything really. When a server wipes, which I mentioned in the first video, everything in your entire inventory is gone. It starts day one. So the second you log into your account for the first time, what you have in your inventory, my 30 million ruples, my 3,000 euros, my 30,000 USD, resets back to whatever I originally started with. This happens generally every 6 months right now. They can change it anytime. They could do it in 5 months. They could do it in 9 months. They might do it once a year. They make the rules. They decide. Play the game how you want. Don't have gear fear. Take what you want to take into a raid. The better gear you bring in, the better your survival chance. When you get better at the game, you will last longer. You'll get into more fights. You'll be able to take more gear out. There's a lot of gear in here I've gotten from killing people, and I've taken their raid stuff, and I've repaired it. There's guns I've taken in raid from scavs that I've gone in with. Guns like this I've gone in with, got kills with. I got an RSAS. Like there's just stuff that you can go in raids with, come out with, that keep you alive longer. Speaking of alive, we're going to get into health. You get 440 health. This is your HP pool. It's diverted into all these, or divided. How's that? Into these 7 categories. Your arms, legs, stomach, chest, and head. If you get shot in the arm, maybe you have gear on it. It only takes 20 damage. This will go down to 420. You get shot in the leg, it takes 35 damage. This goes down to 395. Whatever the drop is, if an arm goes down to 0, it's what they call blacked out. On your screen, you'll see a black arm, black leg. When you go to shoot with an arm, it's hard to get the gun up. It sways, it wiggles, your stam gets lost. You don't have an accurate shot. If you get shot in the leg, if you get a fracture or a blacked out leg, you can't run. You're hobbling, you're walking slow. You can low crawl. But until you repair that leg or arm, you are subject to the difficulty of dealing with that. That's the realism of Tarkov. When you get shot, you're not just still sprinting and jumping and diving and flipping around buildings and 360 no scope off the roof. You get hit in the leg, you are not running. You are hobbling. You can't jump. You guys yelling, screaming. It's a very intense feeling. It's supposed to have that realism. There are a boatload of injuries that you can get. Let me pull up that list here. So I have to use my League of Legends overlay to be able to kind of show this to you. But what basically it is these are the different injuries you can get while you're in the game. Light bleeds, heavy bleeds, flesh wounds. These can reopen up and bleed again if they're not healed. Fractures, pain, you'll get darkness. All these are different types of injuries or effects that you're under. On painkillers. So a lot of times you'll pop painkillers before you get into a battle. So this way, if you get a blacked out arm or leg, you can actually still run. You'll be in pain. You'll take damage, but you'll be able to keep sprinting or moving so you're not in a vulnerable position. So a lot of times you'll see stims, which we'll go over in a little bit. You'll have ibuprofen, or lip balm is a gold star where you rub your fingers. It puts the animation on your lip. Not realistic, but the same effect. That's the kind of the point of it. You can dehydrate. You lose points, 2 points every 2 seconds for being dehydrated. That's basically when you run out of drink or food is fatigue. You move slower. You lose a point every 2 seconds. Your person starts to, the eyes start to like shut on the screen, so everything kind of gets blurry and dark and it reopens. So these are effects that can alter how you have to play the game. If you're trying to get into a fight and you have these effects, you're pretty much going to die unless you have an amazing lucky shot. But most of the time, the people that are coming at you are full health. They're going to beat you because you're under a negative effect. If you're overweight for a long time, it will drain your energy. I'll show you your energy bars when we get in a raid. Stim effects, all these factors happen. So I've mentioned all those factors there. There is a way to counter those. You get different things. So a CMS kit, if you double click on them, they will, a serve kit will tell you it takes 20 seconds to use. You get 15 uses. This removes fractures, and it gives you back some of your HP. So when you get a fracture, you can heal the fracture. If you have a blacked out limb, this will fix it. It will drain all your HP to 0 when you do, but this will give you back like 15 HP, so you'll have some health back. These can do stop light bleeding. This says removes radiation. There's no radiation in the game. You'll see here there's nothing that affects radiation. Stops heavy bleed. This costs 170 HP. So if you look here, that's a 400 HP pool. So you can heal up to 400, but if you stop a heavy bleed, it costs you 170 of that HP. Light bleeds cost you 30. So if you have a light bleed and you click this, it will heal up your light bleed or heal up your heavy bleed, but at a cost. It will reduce this. So I use this for 16 or 20. So what was I at? Move this out of the way. So I use this one for 58. I have this one for 44. So these are healing up. Maybe I was losing health, got hit. Those are things you can take in your pouch or your bag. Stims, these all have different effects. You can click on them, like I said before. This increases your maximum stamina for 240 seconds, plus 30. And recovery stam, plus 2 for 240 seconds. You get hand tremors for 200 seconds. Duration for 40 seconds it lasts. Tunnel effect. After 200 seconds, it lasts for 40 seconds. So the last 40 seconds of this stim, you start to get negative effects. You cannot, if you have 2 of these in raid, this is a new thing that started. You can't have more than 2 of these and then drop one in raid. If you drop it in raid, it disappears. They've added a new stipulation. Certain items can't be dropped. This item doesn't have a restriction for being dropped. These are different effects. This is a morphine. SJ1s cannot be dropped. You can't have more than 2. And I'll tell you right here, this item can be destroyed if you try to throw it away, or if a character dies with the item in the inventory, it does not apply the item tagged as found in raid. So all these can be used for found in raid items. Mules are great. This reduces the weight you're carrying by 50%. You have health kits, med kits. You have these stop 1 light bleed. This has 2 uses. These stop 2 light bleeds. No HP cost. It just takes up 1 in the inventory. These can heal 3 heavy bleeds. Everything will tell you what it does. This will do 1 heavy bleed. These are your ibuprofens, your painkillers. Vaseline's a painkiller. Gold Star's a painkiller. These, if you have a fractured limb, you wrap one of these around, you get 5 uses. You can heal 5 blacked out limbs, or 5 fractured limbs. So each medical thing is something that will help you through the process. Oh, and one other thing, sorry. This is your hydration and your energy. Once these decrease, that's your dehydration, your fatigue. So as these get lower, you'll start to feel the effects of the game slowing down. You want to keep these up. That's your hydration. That's your food and your water, your liquid or juice or whatever you have. There's all different kinds in the game. There's energy drinks, milk, apple juice, Kaz. You have tons of different energy drinks. You have tons of different kinds of food. All this stuff can be consumed to get these numbers up. These numbers are not affected yet, so don't worry about these. None of this even matters. This won't change. These are the 2 you kind of worry about the most. And the mule, so this is your weight. And I almost forgot to bring this up. If I take items off, I'm underweight because it's green. If I put that on, I'm still underweight. As soon as I put this on, I'm overweight. Anytime this hits yellow, even if it's by 0.1, you're considered overweight. The reason I bring that up, the next thing we want to talk about is your skills. These are soft skills. These are things in the background that help you throughout your game get better. Think of it as a basketball player or a football player. They play sports. They're great at what they do. But as they train, as they play more, they get better. They get smarter. They get stronger. They get faster. The more training they do, the more exercise. Same thing with your character here. Going to the military, you could be in amazing shape. You could run, you could lift, but they're going to make you run longer. Be able to lift things, lift heavier things. Be able to survive longer, to understand things. Even though you might be good at it, they make you better. As you play the game, your character gets better. Your endurance, so anytime you're underweight, you're in that green, and you're running, you'll get a longer stamina bar. You won't be as exhausted. You will get a max perk. You'll be a mastery once you hit level 51 in any category. So in strength, every level you go up, you'll get people to jump a little bit higher, carry a little more weight, hit somebody a little bit harder with a melee. Your sprint speeds and movement speeds will be stronger. You'll be able to throw grenades further. You'll be able to aim and lose less stam, which I'll show you when we get into a raid, the raid part. When you get max level 51, all the stuff on this side of your character right here, all this will be 0 weight. This will be, if I just had this item on my bag and I took all this off, it'll probably be like, I don't know, 12, 13 kilograms. If I took all this stuff off. 12.6. So you'd be 12.6 kilograms. And that would be, just going to drag it over. That would be what you'd start off at. So as you put items in your bag, this will start to get heavier and heavier, but you won't suffer that fatigue as fast. So you'll be able to carry things, more things, at a longer period of time. I wouldn't focus on these. Some people do. You can if you want. If that's how you want to play the game. If you want to max these out, there's tricks and strategies to do so. Charisma, taking stuff in and out of inventory. So if you loot something, you put it in your inventory and take it out, that helps with charisma. Searching is a good one. If you search items, you'll be able to search it faster. So you open up a box, instead of waiting 8 seconds to figure out what's in there, it might only take 2 seconds. When this is max, I think someone said it's almost instant. You can see what's in everything. There are weapon skills. I have a level 4 sniper. It does increase, weapon swaps, recoil. I wouldn't focus on these. You're going to get these leveled up as you start leveling. I use snipers a lot and assault rifles a lot. That's why I just have those higher. I started using shotguns a little bit, but not a big deal. You will have hideout skills, because we're going to the hideout part next. We'll start talking about that in a few. This is going to be, well, it might be a few seconds. Your hideout skill. This will increase your hideout perks, the values by 20%, and reduce the fuel consumption and everything by 10%. Crafting reduces the time it takes to craft something. So those are your soft skills. Just something to kind of keep an eye on as you're leveling. The maps. Don't buy any of the maps. Therapist sells maps in here. Okay. These maps, I have one in inventory. I just want to keep it to show you. This is what it shows you. If you pull up the ledger, nothing does anything. You can't view it. You can't change it. This is just what it is. You can zoom in. You can see what's here. Not really helpful. If you want to learn maps, let me show you something. This is an application called Map Genie. It's a mapgenie.io. I can go into any map, like customs, and this map will show me everything. It's a lot of stuff to learn. You're like, whoa, there's loose food. There's all these check marks. It's very confusing. I don't want to use this. If you hit hide all, now I'm not sponsored by them, but this is an amazing tool for someone new. This is what you'll see. You're like, this makes no sense to me. I don't know what any of this means. All I recommend when you're brand new to the game, the most important thing to find out is extractions. This will show you all the areas. So if you load in over here, this is, here, put on locations as well. So locations will give you an idea when someone calls something out, what that means. You'll hear a lot of people say crack house. You'll have a lot of people say fortress or Alamo, old gas station. You'll hear people talk about dorms. This is a huge area. New gas station is where some of the bosses can spawn. Sometimes when you're over here, you're in your storage or big red. You'll learn the names of the area. So when you spawn in, you'll be like, I know where that is. If you want to have an idea where spawns are, so you can kind of figure out where you are, you can turn on the feature. I usually don't use it, so give me 1 second. Spawn point. Spawn point will show you where you could potentially spawn. If you spawn and you're here in this corner and you see some cars, right? You spawn right here. These are cars. You see here, there's a wall. You run around this corner. There's another car technically right here. And you start walking in. You're like, oh, wow, look at all these. There's car storage in here. I must be in storages. Or you run through a bunch of trailer trucks. And you're like, this must be a trailer park. And as you start running, you see railroad tracks. You see water. So you start figuring out, okay, I spawned here and I'm running this way. That's big red. You'll start getting landmarks in your head as you're running. Walk slow, crawl, I don't care. As long as you're moving through the map, get an idea of where you are. If you go up to dorms, you'll see dorms here. So you'll know where you are. There are things in this map that they don't show you. There's a little like jagged line right here. When you get to this point, there's a sign, it's a sniper sign. Shows like a scope. If you go down this path too far, you're going to get sniped. They're going to kill you. It's technically off the map. So if you come across Fortress and you start hitting the grass and you cross the train tracks, you'll see a sign right here and there's like a dead body like right over here. Don't go beyond that point. Certain maps, I'll go through maybe a guide on maps if everything starts to pick up on the channel and we start to see that it's important for you to learn. I'll go through some newer maps, some information, some details. But this is a great tool for someone brand new. Learn the extracts. You don't even have to have spawn points on if you want less on the screen. I would leave locations and extractions. If you don't know where the spawn bosses are, they'll tell you repair shop. I've never seen Roshala here. Fortress, you'll see him in here. Dorms, you'll see him here. New Gas, you'll see him here. This is a little bit outdated with that. But at nighttime, if you go into this section, you can run into cultists. Totally different monster. Don't even worry about that right now. Scav snipers. There's a sniper on a roof here. This is that sniper that will kill you. He's invisible. You can't see him. You can shoot that one. You can shoot this sniper, that sniper. And then I've never seen a sniper here. Someone claims there's a sniper there, but I've never seen one. So this one's kind of outdated as well, which is why I said I'd like to go through some maps with you. So now that we understand overall gear, health, skills, maps, tasks. These are skills that help you, or tasks that help you level your character, not skills. Your skills will level naturally. When you first start off, you're going to start getting a few tasks once you hit level 2. But what you can do is you can search either by location, which will show you where you need to go for your task. Progress is a really good one. So perfect mediator, I need to get my loyalty level 4 for mechanic and loyalty level 4 for ragman. These are different tasks available that you can do. I need to get my searching skill up to level 9. It's at level 8. I need to get 1 lion. And what it'll tell you is how much XP you get. Positive rep with that trader, which we'll talk about. I get 3 gold chains and an unknown reward. If I go to this one, I just need 1 teapot. I get 25,000 XP. I get an Alton face mask, an Alton helmet. I get a reward. I get 128,000 ruples. And I have the ability to buy this off Ragman at level 4. Same thing across the board. You'll see here, I'll get one of these for free because it'll say found in raid, this item you receive, the money, the XP. So these quests are just tasks that you can do throughout the game. They lead you to different maps. Those maps you'll learn how to play those maps. You'll learn about those maps doing these quests because you're going to go into parts of the maps it's going to send you. You'll start finding your way around it. You will have a hard time at first, but things will start to make more sense, and eventually you'll start to develop paths and patterns. You start to see where spawn points are, where a lot of PMCs go to do certain things. You'll know where the task locations are, so you'll know if someone might be coming over that way. This is just kind of helping you through the game. It brings you to every single zone in the game, from labs to customs. Some of them you can do anywhere. This one is just 12 PMC kills with grenades. You can do that in any map. So that's what your tasks are. Operational are daily task or weekly task. Like I have a weekly task left here. I have to do 4 meds, which I have technically all 4. Disposable syringe, I need 10. I have 5 or 6 right now. I need 4 more in 4 days, which I'll be able to do that and herd that in. And these will be all the awards I get. So traders, these characters are where you buy stuff. So at level 1, when you first start the game and you get level 1 traders, this is all the stuff you can buy from these traders: weapons, guns, ammos, helmets, things like that, ears for your headsets. You can also barter for items. So example, let's go to therapist. This is my level 1. All the things I can do. I can either buy water if I need to bring it in a raid. I can barter for it. I can do an H2O2. And it'll give me a free water bottle by trading it in. You hit deal. She's the one that has the maps as well. Don't buy them. Level 2. I can barter for a grizzly. I can give them 1 gas analyzer and 1 ultra UV, and I'll get a grizzly. There's barter for keys. You need keys for a certain task. So if I gave her 4 gold chains, I could get this key, which would help me finish one of my tasks. Pistol cases. I got 4 syringes here, 6. Med cases. There's the 4. I can trade this. If I had 3 more of those or 4 of those, which I could buy. These do not have to be found in raid for traders. 3, 4, so on and so forth, right? So all these items you can either buy or trade. So I can pay ruples right here. So 49,000 when you get the highest level possible. Or I could trade for things. I can buy or trade. So I can buy this for 30,000 if I wanted. Or I can buy that at level 3. Or at all levels, they show you everything. These are your barters. This is everything you can trade for something. You can sell items to them. So if I wanted to sell this SJ6, SJ6, she'll give me 13,545 ruples. I could sell a gold chain. She'll give me 37 now. Last but not least, we'll talk about the flea market real quick. As of this patch, you have to be level 15. If you are not level 15, you have no access to the flea market. Your trader's your only way to buy and sell goods. This is a player-driven economy. This is everything players find in raids that they want to sell. Everything from gear to barter items. So if I wanted to go here, I can pick matches. I can pick valuable items, chains, horses. I can go all the way down here and teapots, ravens. There's all different items in the game that you can sell. Medical supplies. This is all a living monster. Everything in here can change second to second. You could go in and buy an item and there could be nothing for that item. One person selling it for 60,000. You go in the next day, there's 400 of them available and you get them for 3,800. You have to know when to buy and sell items. You'll learn that as you play. It is restrictive. You can't buy every gun. You can't buy every piece of armor. You can't sell certain guns and you can't sell certain armors on here. So it's trying to take some of the best gear for the higher levels that you can get them from traders, but not make them so you can just buy and sell them at will. If you find them in raids, most likely someone brought them in, so you can't even sell it them because it's not found in raid. If stuff gets damaged, we talked about durability a little bit. I can drag that over here. If I could fix it, it would let me repair it. You get repair kits and armor repair kits. So if my armor's damaged, which I don't think I have any that's really damaged, right here, I can click on this. So it's going to be 2.81. It's 55 out of 60. If I hit repair, it's now 54.7 and 54.7. So sometimes repairing an item doesn't benefit you. My max durability went down to 54. I knew it was going to kind of do that. Goes down to 54.7 instead of 55 out of 60. So now I've actually maxed, but I've lost 0.3. Some cases it's more. You can buy them if you don't have these kits. You can buy durability from any of these weapons that might need it or armor that might need it from a trader. So 3 traders outside of the armor kit: prepper, skier, mechanic. Each of them has a different value and a different percent to repair. If you repair, just do it with prepper, unless you need to use, because this counts as money spent. If you need to use money on them, it might be worth it. But I use repair kits because I find them in the raids all the time. I sell these things like crazy, then I'll use them up, and I'll sell them, sell new ones, get new ones, so on and so forth. So that's different ammo and different armor repairs. The last thing I want to go over today, because this has been a long video, this is your hideout. I am going to do next video way more in depth on traders, way more in depth on the hideout. This is this is how you can level skills, craft items such as bitcoins, which you can then sell and get money for. That's a passive revenue. It just works in the background. Once I get all these items, I can construct a solar power. I need 2 more of these. I need to have the USD, 3 clean drives, 10 of these, 5 of these. Air filter. These items, I don't think I have to go buy more. These will increase your physical strength by 48%. If you go into a raid and you get 10 points in a normal raid to increase your physical abilities, say you're leveling strength and you only get 10 points, you've run out, you maxed out, you're exhausted, you've got the most points you can get before you get out. Well, now technically you'll get 14.8. So we'll post to 10. This will add up over time. These are great to always have running. So we'll go over this in the next video. There's a lot to this that you can learn, but we'll talk about that next. Just know that these items all have to be crafted in a certain order. Certain ones require certain things from other ones. This looks dark and dungy and dreary when you first get into it. Later on, when you start getting all the things, you get your Bitcoin farm here. It starts to look a little bit better. You get your Intel centers, workbench, med stations. You can walk around it. I don't usually do this, but it looks pretty cool inside. Rest areas. So all this stuff is super cool to learn. It's cool to have. You can go in here and take out your gun. You know, you can use it without wasting the ammo. You can back out, go back in, and then have the ammo again. And then you can just kind of mess around with that, try different guns. But that's your hideout. That's this video. A lot to take in, a lot to learn. Like I said, this is a very intense, very detailed-oriented game. Next video, we're going to go into hideout and traders. We're going to go over what you can get, how you get it, what are good ideas to do, good meds to have, kind of build a character in a way so when you go into a raid, you kind of know what you're taking in, what you're taking out. But we'll do that in the next one. Catch you guys then.